Hello, everyone, and welcome to Partner Network's Connection Corner. My name is Kevin Gursky, and I, along with Aaron Riggsmith, will be your moderators today for today's call. Our presenters today are Josh, Kelly, and Jocelyn from CallSource. The CallSource team will be presenting to you how to unleash the power of your phone. They'll be talking about appointment conversion based on authentic conversations, offer phone tips, and discuss why evaluating CSRs call performance can help your sales cycle and, more importantly, boost morale. Everyone that's on for the duration of the call will be entered into a drawing for a $50 Visa gift card, courtesy of the Partner Network. Also, CallSource will have a special offer for all those on the call today. A couple of reminders before we get started. Once Josh, Kelly, and Jocelyn have finished their presentation, you can ask questions by clicking the Raise Hand button or by typing a question in the Q&A box. Both of these features are located within the sidebar on the right-hand side of the WebEx application. Also, this presentation is being recorded and will be posted in the Partner Network Education section of the Partner Network portal within 24 hours. And now I'd like to introduce you to our presenters today. Josh, Kelly, and Jocelyn, thank you for joining us, and the mic is yours.
Thank you for the introduction, Kevin. We're excited to be here. My name is Josh Osterhoff. I've been with CallSource for about 8 years, and we've been partners with SGI since 2014. Over the last 5 years working with SGI, I've had the great privilege of getting to know many members as we've worked with over 200 SGI companies. Jocelyn Whiting, who will be doing a majority of the presenting today, has worked as a phone skills coach for over 15 years. Kelly Conley, our senior marketing manager with us today as well, has been with CallSource for 2 years and brings a lot of experience in the tech and startup space. During this webinar, we will be giving you a couple of great tools to start implementing right away in your business. Let's take a quick look at our agenda for today. First, Kelly will talk about brand management and being able to measure results over time. Then we will jump into call handling skills and how the Telephone Essentials call process and CallSource's Core 4 work together. Jocelyn will give you a 10,000-foot view of call coaching and reasons why each part of SGI's Telephone Essentials call process is so important. And of course, towards the end, I will share with you how CallSource can help you meet your business goals. If you take nothing else away today, we want you to remember a couple very important things. Number one, call handlers are your customers and your potential customers' first introduction to your brand. Number two, if you only remember one thing from the call coaching skills, it is to make sure your call handlers are confident on the phone. And lastly, you can only improve your business if you have data to measure it by. At the end of the presentation, there is a website where you will be able to download a couple of tools. One, a phone tip sheet, and two, our business hack, marketing attribution using the phone. With that, Kelly?
Hi, everyone. I'm going to talk to you today about brand and what that really means to your business. Branding 101 is really about how you want the world to see you and to make sure it's aligned with how your customers actually see you. Well, why is this important? It's because your brand is the only thing that sets you apart from your competitors. Well, let me say that in another way. Brand marketing is actually competitive marketing. Your customers purchase from you because they like you. Why they like you is because of your brand. That being said, here are some really quick tips at a high level to make sure that you have your brand all buttoned up. First impressions. Make sure you have a messaging document and all of your employees are familiar with it. It doesn't matter how long you've been in business. Write it all down, all your services and your talking points that include how you want your employees to describe your company and your services. Now, that messaging document should also include your organization's mission, vision, and purpose. Visual voice. Make sure that all of the images you use across all of your marketing channels visually convey a message of who you are. If you're a super friendly company with a great follow-up, use images of happy people. If you want to convey a professional environment, your images should be more formal. And here's another big tip. Always, always, always pay for copyrighted images and never use images with watermarks on them. Customer service. Even though your potential customer has experienced your brand through your advertising or word of mouth, they really don't experience who you are until they call your business. Your CSR is the voice of your brand. Great customer service isn't just being polite. Now, Jocelyn today, our call coach, is going to give you some fundamentals of a fantastic customer call, not just for the caller, but for your business. Last, reviews. Make sure that you're listening to what your customers are saying. Google yourself. Make sure you are listed everywhere that you can be. It's also really, really great for your SEO. But most importantly, you'll know if delivering the type of quality you think you are giving to your customers. And don't forget to respond to your reviews. If you're unsure of what to say, check out the CallSource blog. We have a whole lot of tools and articles that can help you out. Data, data, data. Brand management and brand marketing cannot exist without data. Rely on the facts and not a couple of your friends or customers' opinions. Anecdotal evidence does not do anything in a competitive marketing situation. If you don't have numbers, you can't benchmark yourself to know when you improve. So the rest of today's conversation is really going to be about how to have a meaningful phone conversation that book appointments. I'll be here at the very end, and I'm always available if you want to talk marketing or have any questions. Josh.
Thanks, Kelly. Years ago, CallSource developed the Core 4 and always graded call handlers based on this scorecard. This enabled us to find strong and weak points of each call handler, allowing us to build custom plans to help them improve. 2 years ago, in an effort to deepen our partnership with SGI and its members, we worked with Kelly Robichaud and the Learning Alliance team to incorporate the Telephone Essentials call process into our program. This way, there is a consistent message regarding call coaching between Learning Alliance and CallSource. If an SGI member was to send their CSR to the Telephone Essentials training, those CSRs will get a consistent message in the call coaching they receive through CallSource. Jocelyn is going to go through each part of a phone call, why it is important, and offer some great examples. With that being said, Jocelyn, take it away.
Thank you, Josh. Let's get started on how to book a successful call through the power of the phone. What I'm going to share with you today is the Cliff's Notes version of our onboarding training. CSRs go through this training before they start call coaching. The training gives them the baseline understanding of what they need to do to book a successful call. Then through call coaching, these skills get reviewed and reinforced by listening to actual calls that they have had with their customers. So we're going to start with tone because tone is the foundation of every call. The definition of tone is the quality or attitude conveyed by a person's voice. How can you make tone work for you? You always want to display a positive attitude. You want to sound helpful and polite. Avoid talking over the caller or interrupting them. You want to smile over the phone. Your callers can hear your smile and they will smile back at you. Your tone needs to be likable. Customers only do business with people who they like and trust, and your tone can say, "You can like me." Your tone should be confident, because when you have a confident tone, you are in control of the conversation, and then you can steer the conversation towards the ultimate goal of booking an appointment. So get ready. The phone is ringing. The first step in establishing trust with your caller is now. It's all about getting to know them and start building a relationship of trust. The goals here are to manage your tone, which we just discussed. You want to get the caller's name at the very beginning of the call and use it during the conversation. Referring to them by name is that first step in a relationship and making them feel like they're your friend. You want to validate their request, providing that reassurance of helping them in the beginning of the call puts them at ease. It is a simple, "I can help you with that." You want to show empathy if the situation calls for it, letting them know that you understand their situation and helping them to feel understood. If you gain your caller's trust at the beginning of the call, it's going to make it easier for you to ask for the appointment, for the commitment, but it's also going to make it easier for your caller to say yes. So now that you've built a relationship with your caller, it's time to start understanding their needs, their specific needs, by asking questions. You want to find out what to sell before you sell it. Find out what kind of appointment they need before you book it. Find out what is important to them, and you do this by asking questions. There are 3 different types of questions, so let's talk about that. Open-ended questions is how you start your conversation, getting the caller to open up, share with you what is important to them. Open-ended questions start with words like who, what, where, when, why, how, and tell me. Probing questions are questions that you use to gather more information, so you have the complete picture of what your customer's needs are. Closed-ended questions will help you to steer the conversation back to the task at hand and are used for restating and asking for the commitment. A closed-ended question requires only a yes or a no answer. It is important that while you are asking these questions, that you are staying focused on the customer's answers, listening and responding to them, having a conversation, making them feel comfortable. So let me give you some examples of the different types of questions. Some examples of open-ended questions would be, how can I help you? Tell me why you are calling today. What is going on? How old is your system? Or when was the last time it was serviced? Some example of probing questions, they're a little bit harder to give because they're based upon the prior answer that was given. But some examples here would be, how long has this been happening? Have you had this issue before? Closing questions example would be in a restate when you ask, is that correct? Or in asking for the appointment, are you available at 2 today? Remember, when you are done asking questions, you should have the complete picture of your caller's needs. So now that since asking questions, you have learned about the caller's needs, it's now time to tell your caller how you can address those needs. By building value, you're going to give your customers the confidence to not only say yes to the appointment, but about keeping the appointment. You want to make sure that you're recommending your product and your services with confidence. An example would be, based upon what you're telling me, we need to send one of our certified technicians to come out and take care of that for you. You want to share your knowledge of product and services options that you have. An example would be, since you have an older system, I would recommend one of our maintenance plans. This will help you save money as well as give you peace of mind that your system will keep you cool during the summer months. You want to highlight your strengths over the competition. Talk about your ratings, your 5-star reviews, and your customer satisfaction. All of your company's talking points should be included on that messaging document that Kelly mentioned earlier, to make sure that everybody has similar word tracks. So now let's talk about how you can relate your company's features and benefits to the caller's needs. You want to make sure that your benefits address a caller's stated needs. This is what you determine by asking questions. You want to refer back to what the caller actually told you. If they didn't say it, there really isn't any need for you to talk about because it's not important to them. This is how you become a trusted advisor and not just a salesperson or appointment maker. This is how you get the caller to book an appointment with you. Building value before you give out any prices is a proactive approach to overcoming any objections that your customers may have. Overcoming customers' objections is an advanced skill because it's based on a lot of other steps in the call. So now let's move to that last and final step, which is asking for the commitment. Everything you've done so far has led to this. It's time to ask your caller to schedule. When you ask for the appointment, you want to be confident. Avoid hesitation. If you are not confident or you hesitate, your customer is going to be hesitant and not confident in saying yes. You want to use closed-ended questions. Remember, a yes or a no answer. You don't want their opinion. You want to ask for the appointment by securing a specific date and time. And making sure before you end the call you confirm their information and ask if they're interested in a text reminder. And at this point in time, if the answer is no, you'll want to work on overcoming the customer's objections. So let me give you some examples of some good and some bad closing questions. So a good closing question would be, Susan, the trip charge would be $75, and can I book that in for you? Can I book that in for you is that yes or no answer that I've been talking about. An assumptive close is assuming your customer is going to want to book an appointment with you. Susan, the trip charge will be $75. Would you like us to come out this afternoon? Again, would you like us to come out this afternoon is a yes or a no answer. Bad examples of a closing question would be, the trip charge is $75. How does that sound? How does that sound is an open-ended question, and you're asking for an opinion on the price. And I guarantee you the customer is going to say, well, I'm going to see if I can get it cheaper. I'm going to keep calling around. Or the non-commitment closing, and I've listened to a lot of calls over the last 15 years, and I do hear this in calls, and it's a great coaching moment. Would you like to think about it and give us a call back when you decide? That is when we're afraid and we don't want to book the appointment. So remember, by using the power of the phone and the skills I've just reviewed with you, you can book every call. Thank you, and now I'm going to hand it back over to Josh.
Thank you, Jocelyn. As mentioned earlier, don't forget these takeaways. Number one, call handlers are the first introduction to your brand. Number two, the number one skill for your call-taking team is having confidence on the phone. And lastly, you can only improve your business if you have data to measure it by. As a business owner or manager, you can do all of this call evaluation and coaching of your staff yourself. However, we know how your days typically go and how many hats many of you are wearing in your business. With that being said, we can do all of this for you through our call coaching program, which you just experienced from Jocelyn. Many SGI members have their call handlers meeting with our coaches twice per month for 15 to 20 minutes because they know how important their phone is within their business and brand. I am sure you spend money to get the phone to ring, but if you don't book the call, you don't have a chance to get out to the home, and you don't have that opportunity to make money. After listening to our customers over the last couple of years, we have moved away from simply being a call tracking company and more into a managed services offering. Call management, understanding your numbers. Performance management, CSR scorecards, and coaching your team, which again, you just experienced from Jocelyn. Reputation management, online review responding, again, what Kelly referred to, which is compatible with all review management systems, including PulseM. Digital management, understanding your digital and online performance. As promised, this website on the screen will take you to our phone tip sheet and business hack, marketing attribution using the phone. If you would like to learn more, please email or call me direct at the phone number or email on the screen. The best way is to set up a one-on-one meeting to share all the details on how we can help your business grow. Also, as a gift to those who are in attendance today and sign up in the month of May, we are waiving the $100 per CSR onboarding fee. Thank you for your time today. I'd like to open it up for questions at this time. Kelly, Jocelyn, and I are all available to answer anything that you might have.
Thank you, Josh. That was fantastic. And also thank you, Kelly and Jocelyn. Super informative and appreciate it. So we'll give our folks a few moments here to be able to put in any questions up there. Remember, either click on the raise hand icon, or if you want to throw a question in that Q&A section, our other moderator, Aaron Riggsmith, will grab that. And actually, I just saw one that popped up here, and I'm not sure, maybe the three of you guys can answer this one, or this might be more of a Jocelyn question, but do you recommend role-playing with CSMs, and then how often?
I can answer that. We do role-play in coaching. There is a trust level there that you need to earn, so I work on gaining and earning the trust with the CSR that I'm coaching. But if they are struggling with a skill, then we do role play, where I'll be the customer or I'll be the CSR and vice versa. It really gives them that insight and that opportunity to practice And I find that if people that I coach are good with role play with their coach, then they're going to be great on the phones with it.
Fantastic. I've got another one here, and this kind of ties to one of the things that you did talk about earlier. If you do hear a bad call, how quickly do you coach the CSR? Do you do it immediately afterwards, or do you recommend doing that at the end of the day or the next day?
And I can answer that again. As a manager, if you hear a bad call that your employee had, it's very important that, yes, that you give them feedback. But there is a huge difference between managing your people and coaching your people. You have to remember that as a coach, it has to be motivating. It has to be uplifting. You've got to give them that, yeah, you can do it kind of an attitude when they go back to the phone. So if a bad call comes in, you really have to put on that manager's hat and really talk about the specifics of what went wrong, giving them the tools to how to do it right. And then you want to catch them doing that skill right and then pull them in for a coaching session.
Perfect. Thank you. Also, I got another one here. I think this one is more geared towards Kelly. You talked about reviews. What is a reasonable time to respond to a review? Do you have to do it immediately, or should you collect some information and then reply to it?
Well, it really depends on the business. So review management is one of those things. 24 hours is usually an acceptable time. If it's a negative review, don't let it go more than 48 hours, right? So find out what happened, where the issue was, and make sure you address it in a really transparent manner because everybody who's going to look at your reviews, everybody knows not 100% of people are 100% satisfied. So those negative reviews are as important in how you deal with them as a positive review. So 24, 48 hours.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And then I've got another one here. I have a new CCR or CSM, and they're very reliant on scripts. Any tips to try to make them sound less scripted?
I can answer that. We use scripts to help new CSRs to get comfortable with the call flow. Through coaching, through listening to calls, we look at it and we look at different ways as we're listening to the calls on how we can make things sound less scripted. So when instead of what I like to say, checking off the box mentality, that we're having a conversation, but we're still gathering the information that we've had. So scripts are great as a crutch in the beginning when they're learning the call flow, and then through call coaching, we give them tips and tools on how to make it sound not scripted.
So, Kevin, I'm going to jump in there, too, real quick. So not only, just like Jocelyn said, scripts are kind of a crutch, but when we talk about that messaging document and how you describe your services, those are really kind of talk tracks that help people get comfortable so everybody's speaking a united voice. Obviously, it's not going to have every scenario in there, but as long as they have some bullet points that they can start to remember, especially when they first onboard, it's going to get everybody a lot more comfortable to be able to answer questions quickly and without a script.
Perfect. And then this is actually a question that I have for you guys. I've been, of course, working with a lot of contractors for almost 14 years now, and there always seems to be this magical number that everyone thinks they have an 80% call booking percentage. But then when you start doing the call tracking, you start finding out that it's not a true call booking percentage. What would you say the average contractor's call booking percentage is? And then what do you think, what's the improvement once they start coaching and implementing a lot of the different tactics that you guys have?
I can answer that one, Kevin. Thank you. So in general, there's a lot of different ways to measure booking rate, and a lot of times it becomes a call to appointment percentage, which in reality there's a lot of sales and business and junk calls that might come in. And so in our system, we are measuring a prospect or interested buyer to appointment percentage, which is really the only fair way to measure a booking rate for a CSR. The average within SGI and the companies we work with today is usually somewhere around 70%. That's the number that we usually see. There are some companies that hit 85%, and there's also some companies that are, much below 70%, but about average is about 70. Regarding improvement, it is different in every business. Some businesses are offering no training to their CSRs to start with, and so there's more room for improvement. Others are doing internal training and maybe have used other third parties for training prior to us providing the coaching, and then there's less room for improvement. But on average, based on the case studies we've run with many SGI members, we've seen somewhere between a 4 and 6% increase in that booking rate after several months of consistent coaching.
Oh, fantastic. Well, that's exciting news and can easily lead to great rewards to the bottom line. So thank you for that. And we'll throw it up for any other questions out there.
Hey, Kev, it's
All
Kelly.
right, well,
I'm gonna just jump in kind of on the tail end of Josh's answer right there. It's not only 70% is not a bad rate. I want to make sure that that's really clear. It's just how your people are answering the phones, and that's why you always have to get data and a benchmark to be able to improve it. Self-scored calls means that the person is being expected to remember those calls, and those usually have a higher close rate percentage or, better overall success rate, because if you think about it, if you're scoring your own calls, you're going to just remember the very last thing. So that's one really great thing about third-party data is that it's unbiased and you really get the bottom line number, so you can see incremental improvement over time.
Great point, Kelly. Well, hey, thank you very much. Those are all great questions that we had here today. And if any of our members on this call, or if anyone listens to this after the fact, if you have any additional questions, you could certainly reach out to Josh, Kelly, or Jocelyn, or any of the Partner Network team members. I'd like to thank, again, the folks at CallSource, Josh, Kelly, and Jocelyn for presenting. This was great information. And I'd like to thank everyone for joining us today. And before we end the call, I did want to let Frank Cully know that you ended up winning that $50 Visa gift card. So be on the lookout for that $50 Visa gift card. Thanks again, everyone, for participating in today's Connection Corner. And be on the lookout for next month's Connection Corner. You guys all have a great weekend and a great day. We'll talk to you soon.